Protest by several unions in Panama against the high cost of living continues. In response, the national government announced a frozen of the prices of fuel and some products of the basic food basket. The President of Mexico, President Lopez Obrador, met this Tuesday with his U.S. counterpart Joe Biden, where they will discuss migration, security, and economic and Central issues. The value of euro reaches a period with the U.S. dollar, raising fears of a recession in the European bloc due to rising inflation and the energy crisis. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin with the news. Stay with us. A new day of protest engaged various unions in Panama against the high cost of living. In response, the national government announced a freezing of the price of fuel and some basic goods. The single union of construction workers, SUNSTRAD, stated this Monday night that the national strike continues after reacting the announcement of President Cortizo on the freezing of the price of fuel and of 10 products of the basic basket. Saul Mendez, Secretary General of the SUNSTRAD, considered the government proposal insufficient and assured that the pressure measure will continue. A march and a 24-hour strike were also announced for this Tuesday throughout the country if there are not convincing answers to the demands put forward by social movements and trade unions. The governments of Nicaragua and China on Monday promoted actions to implement the early harvest agreement, which will mean boosting the economy of the Central American country. As part of the mechanism initiated and which strengthens relations between the two nations, the early harvest agreement was signed, whose objective is to exchange exports and import goods with preferential tariffs. By means of this agreement, Nicaragua could exceed $1 billion in exports and in the next 2 years or 3 years. Authorities from both countries also signed a memorandum of understanding for establishment of a joint commission for economic, trade, and investment cooperation. The Bolivarian Alliance for the Peoples of our American People's Trade Agreement, or TCP, will discuss this Tuesday's issues related to the younger population. During a high-level meeting of the organization, it is expected that a youth movement of member countries will be encouraged and coordinated to play a leading role. In this sense, the Executive Secretary of the Alliance, Seychelles Laurenti, indicated that representatives will share experiences in public policies and will coordinate joint tasks in these areas of action. Although TCP is made up to Venezuela, Cuba, Bolivia, Nicaragua, Dominica, St. Vincent the Grenadines, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and Grenada, and was created in 2004 under the initiative of revolutionary leaders Hugo Chavez and Fidel Castro. In Brazil, former President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva will fulfill a series of political alliances and commitments ahead of the October 2nd presidential elections. Lula's new visit to Brasilia will be a very important movement to accelerate the organization of the electoral pre-campaign. Before the event scheduled for 5 p.m. local time, the candidate will talk with leaders and businessmen of the trade of goods, services, and tourism about the sector's demands. The event will be attended by the pre-candidate to the DF government, Leandro Graz, who represents the declaration of the PT and the Green and Communist Party of Brazil in the elections. Rosalind Correa, pre-candidate to the Senate for the same coalition, and other pre-candidates and leaders of the center-left in the DF will also attend the event. In Haiti, more than 52 people have died in clashes between armed gangs in the capital, Port-au-Prince. The clashes began last Friday, forcing thousands of residents to confine themselves to their house without access to water, food, or basic services. This is the second gun warning in the north part of the capital since the end of April, when clashes left at least 200 dead, hundreds injured, and more than 30,000 internally displaced. According to the authority, many of the fatalities belong to wearing guns. However, there are also several deaths among the civilian population. The President of Mexico, Andrés Manuel Lopez Obrador, held talks with his U.S. counterpart Joe Biden on the immigration situation and bilateral cooperation issues. The Mexican head of state proposed an ex-migration deal that will allow the arrival of professionals and technicians of different nationalities to the U.S. U.S. President Joe Biden said that the dealing with immigration is a continental challenge shared by his country and Mexico. Lopez Obrador also commemorated establishing controls on gasoline prices and creating projects for greater binational economic collaborations.
Estrechar aún más
the daily lives of our people. And despite the overhyped headlines that we sometimes see, you and I have a strong and productive relationship.
In spite of our differences and our grievances that are not easy to forget, neither with time nor with good intentions, on many occasions we have been able to meet and to work together as good friends and true allies.
We'll take a short break now. Join us again after this. Welcome back. During a televised interview, Pope Francis said he entertains good human relations with the people of Cuba and with Raul Castro.
I love the Cuban people very much, very much. And I had very good human relations with people from Cuba. And I admit, with Raul Castro, I have a human relationship.
Pope Francis said he was happy with attempts made by Cuba and the United States to have rapprochements.
I was happy when this small agreement was reached with the United States, which President Obama wanted at that time. And Raul Castro accepted it. And it was a good step forward. But it stopped now. At present, I don't know if they are conducting exploratory dialogues to bridge the distance. Cuba is a symbol. It has a great history. I feel very close even to the Cuban bishops.
For the first time in 20 years, the value of the euro and the US dollar is the same, rising fears of a recession in the European bloc due to rising inflation and the energy crisis resulting from US-European Union sanctions against Russia. The Eurozone economy is more vulnerable with inflation rate of 8.6%, threatened to prolong and provoke the further recession, compounded by rising energy prices due to the effect of sanctions against Russia, the general main energy supplier. The fall in the value of the euro against the dollars is already being felt in European countries, with Europeans paying more euros from every liters of gasoline or for products and services that depends on imports in an economy where 50% of imports are denominated in US dollars. Analysts say the two factors could hit the EU economy because of energy and the economic slowdown. The United Kingdom's Labour Party plans to hold a no-confidence vote in Boris Johnson's and the government has been blocked by ministers who control the House of Commons table. Downing Street said it will allow time for a vote of no confidence in the government, but not the Prime Minister. Spokesman said the Prime Minister had already said he will quit and a vote will not be the values of members of Parliament's time. And since May, the Bible of parliamentarians producers gave examples of previous confidence motions, but does not set precise rules for what will count as not confident vote. However, Deputy Speaker Nigel Evans said the government had concluded that Labour's motion could not be considered as such. Meanwhile, the Conservative FTS will vie to become the next Prime Minister. The Conservative Party announced on Tuesday with frontrunner Rishi Sunak launching his campaign by saying he will not denounce the outgoing Boris Johnson despite triggering his fall. Former Finance Minister Sunak, his successor Dani Zahawi, Foreign Minister Liz Truss, Foreign Defense Minister Penny Mordaunt, and former Health Minister Jeremy Hunt all received the support of more than 20 MPs. The threshold requires to enter the race. They are joined by outsider Kemi Vanderland, Suella Baberman, and Tom Tungenhan. In Wednesday, the first round of voting, where at least one will be eliminated. EU finance ministers on Tuesday gave Croatia the final green light to adopt the euro single currency after January 1st, 2023. The newest member joins the group at a difficult moment with the euro hovering close to parity with the US dollar, a symptom of a looming cost of living crisis in the eurozone economy. Croatia expressed willingness to adopt the single currency point in joining the UN in 2013, and the decision to allow sovereigns entry comes as the euro has just celebrated its 20th anniversary. This move also means a seat on the EU's top decision-making tables. Cyprus residents react on Tuesday as the European Union made moves to remove the final obstacle to Croatia adopting the euro.
Slovenia, and when they introduced the euro, prices went sky high.
On the one hand, there are benefits to it, but on the other hand, nothing important will change. Rich people will be even richer, while poor people will be poor. That's how the system works. There is no big philosophy to it.
Belarus criticized the Western policies against Russia and warns against a NATO plan to start a full-scale war in Eastern Europe. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko said that Western countries led by the United States are systematically and methodically destroying the world security system, even against their own national interests, and claimed that NATO is forming armed groups in support of neo-Nazi ideology. The president criticized the war policies of the West, which could bring the world to the brink of a world where there will be no food system, and urged the international community to avoid more conflict. Heat wave in Europe, temperature of up to 49 degrees Celsius expected. Governments in several countries are drawing up plans for the first national heat wave emergency that will cause, at least in some regions, widespread disruption to schools, travels, and health services. The high temperatures are being closely monitored by the European Air Observation Program Copernicus, but so unusual is the situation that it is not clear to German meteorologists how heaty it will be. Specialists currently don't expect weather until early next week, but models are still very inaccurate 7 days ahead of time. But there are increasing indications that unusual temperatures could occur in Central Europe. We have more news coming up after this final short break, so don't go away. Welcome back. In Nigeria, at least 19 people were reported killed in a new attack by criminal gangs in the Zamfara region. Local media reported that the attack was perpetrated by local militias against citizens of the villages of Nangulbir and Kango in the northern Maru areas of the country. Local authorities detailed that during the attack, 13 of the victims were killed in Nangulbir and 5 others died in Kango. The attack occurred in the context of the deterioration of security in Ampuya in recent months due to the criminal armed group's threat it's advancing towards the south of the African continent. A number of 49 soldiers from the Ivory Coast were arrested in Mali on Monday after arriving at the airport. According to the spokesman of the de facto government of Mali, Abdoulaye Maiga, those arrested were carrying arms, ammunition, and equipment.
2 planes coming from the Ivory Coast, 49 Ivorian soldiers with their weapons and ammunition, as well as other military equipment, landed at the international airport of President Modibo Keita Seno. Thanks to the professionalism of the Malian Defense and Security Forces, it was established that the 49 Ivorian soldiers were illegally on the national territory of Mali. As a result, they were immediately arrested and their weapons, ammunition, and equipment were seized.
The transitional government of Mali considered the detainees as mercenaries, even though the United Nations claimed that soldiers.
In view of all these failures and infractions committed in the context of the deployment of these 49 Ivorian soldiers, the transitional government considers them to be mercenaries, as defined by the OAU Convention on the Elimination of Mercenarism in Africa. The intent of those arrested was clearly to break the dynamic of rebuilding and securing Mali, as well as the return of the constitutional order.
In Saudi Arabia, nearly 1 million Muslims worshippers from various regions gathered in Mecca to participate in the closing of the Hajj pilgrimage. Around 900,000 pilgrims gathered in the village of the Mine east of the Masjid al-Haram in Mecca participated in the stoning of the 4th day as part of the activities and rituals of the festival. The Muslim faithful performed the workforce circumambulation, which consisted of throwing 7 pebbles, concluding the ceremony under the atmosphere of tranquility and peace. Saudi authorities praised the activity and participation of the Arab and Islamic world for its efforts to make the pilgrim a peaceful event. Petroleum authorities arrested 2 individuals in connection with one of the 2 shootings that plunged South Africa into mourning over the weekend. A total of 19 people died after unknown assailants opened fire on Saturday night friendly at random on the patrol of 2 bars, one in Soweto, a suburb of Johannesburg, 15 dead, the other in Pietersmarkspoort in the east, 4 dead. In a statement announced the 2 arrests without further details, the Minister of Home Affairs said it was a first step towards holding the account all those who organize the country's deadlines weekend. Shootings are common in South Africa, one of the world's most violent countries, fulfilled by gun violence and alcohol, but the indiscriminate nature of the 2 weekend killings is baffling investigators. Malaysia's King Abdullah Hamzah met with visiting Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi in Kuala Lumpur, with both sides agreeing to expedite practical cooperation and advance the key Belt and Road projects. Abdullah and China is not only Malaysia's largest trading partner, but also its important strategic partner. For his part, Wang said China has been the largest trade partner of Malaysia for 13 consecutive years, and the all-round cooperation between the 2 countries has been fruitful, boosting both countries' development and delivering huge benefits to the 2 peoples. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, Director General of the World Health Organization, warned that COVID-19 is far from being over as new waves appeared in different countries.
New waves of the virus demonstrate again that the COVID-19 is nowhere near over. As the virus pushes at us, we must push back. We're in a much better position than at the beginning of the pandemic. Of course, we have made good progress. We have safe and effective tools that prevent infections, hospitalizations, and deaths. However, we should not take them for granted.
St. Lucia's confirms presence of new Omicron variant BA.5 involving a 36-year-old woman from Viruxpur with no travel history. The case was reported by the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPAT, after the genomic subsequent was used and suggests in-country transmissions and the presence of other cases. The Ministry of Health is also monitoring the multi-country monkeypox outbreak and has increased its surveillance for early detected and management of cases. teleSUR English continues to grow. Signals now reaches Europe, and you can order it for your cable dealer or tune it yourself. These parameters that you see on the screen are in place since July 1st, and quite soon for the changes will be implemented for the signal in the Middle East and Africa. Now more than ever, the world connect to us, and our stories are being heard all around the globe. This news multi-platform will continue providing trustful content to oppose the hegemonic media's narrative and our faithfulness to our audience. And with that story, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our socials. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram as well. For teleSUR English and from the South, I'm Ana Marrero, and thank you for watching.